Let's take a look at Bitcoin, the unit, which is being adopted as a form of money. Now, Bitcoin itself only exists on the Bitcoin network. It is the native unit of the network. Now, a Bitcoin itself is divisible into 100 million pieces, or subunits called Satoshis. Now, if you're using the Lightning Network, you may have come across millisats, which are 1/1000th of a Satoshi, but we won't cover that here. So Bitcoin is special because of its terminal supply. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. In fact, that number will only ever approach 21 million. It will never actually touch 21 million. And that's what Bitcoin represents. It is the invention or discovery of digital scarcity. And this is a one-time path-dependent event. It will never happen again. So if competitors are out there trying to replicate Bitcoin, that will not work. Why? Well, you have to understand how all the puzzle pieces fit together. Now, the white paper lays out the tools, technologies, processes that are the recipe of which Bitcoin is concocted. More specifically, how they actually fit together, how they are assembled in a novel way to produce a digitally scarce unit. Bitcoin supply, so the fact that you can inspect the code base and verify exactly how all future Bitcoin will be issued, at what rate, in what amounts, and this makes it the most predictable monetary policy of any monetary good out there. And remember how we talked about money's role as reducing future uncertainty? Well, this makes Bitcoin very, very attractive, especially when you compare it with all other options. Here is a snippet of the code. If you go to Bitcoin Core's GitHub, you'll be able to review it for yourself. And it's a very beautifully simple monetary policy. Now, the rate at which new Bitcoins are issued into the system or into circulating supply reduces over time. This is what gives Bitcoin's supply curve that asymptotic nature. Now, I'm not going to cover mining in this course because it really deserves its own entire course, but I will link to a very high-level thread I did on the basic mechanics of proof of work. Here is just a table kind of representing that information in a different way. So we're kind of broken down into different eras in terms of the amount of new Bitcoin issued with each block. Right now we are in the 4th era. We'll be soon moving into the 5th era, depending on when you're watching this video. So Bitcoin is assessed relative to all other options. So if you're looking to store value for the long term, you're going to be seeing what other monetary goods are available to you. Now, if we compare Bitcoin to the US dollar, look at the difference in these supply curves. They are completely contrasting. And the result is, well, you get the picture. This is the Bitcoin US dollar chart over 14 years. So Bitcoin has superior monetary properties relative to its peers. And we know Bitcoin, or money, I should say, is a winner-take-all competition. Nobody ever said they wanted to store their wealth or purchasing power in the second hardest money. That just is not a logical thought. So if we go back to our conundrum of these geo-fenced and permissioned fiat currencies, and then we look at the internet overlaid on top of it, well, the internet continues to make borders less relevant in the age of digital commerce, especially where communications tools and networks exist at a peer-to-peer level. So how will we choose a solution to the coincidence of wants between digital fiat currencies? Well, here's the criteria we will need to look for. Firstly, it will have to be neutral. No single group can have seigniorage. Okay, you're not going to get individuals or even governments to agree on something where one group has a clear, unfair advantage. Next, it needs to be global. It has to be accessible everywhere. It has to be transparent. So we need something that is auditable. So right now there are very opaque systems around the world, very opaque currencies. That's a problem that digital communications networks solve. There's no reason to be opaque in the digital age other than for maybe nefarious reasons or intentionally opaque. And it will have to be indestructible, right? If you're going to use a digital money in a monetary network, you have to be assured that it's going to be there when you need it, which can be any time. right? So we need something that has a very high uptime. Lastly, peer-to-peer. It has to work at the level of the individual. So what solves for those criteria? Well, we go back to various monetary properties of various digital forms of money, and we descend on Bitcoin as the solution to that problem. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but this is a process that happens as more and more people are educated about what Bitcoin can do.